All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 5:32. Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 1. We are at City Hall. Today is June 10th, 2025, 5:32 p.m. If everyone would rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Ayala, would you help us with roll call?
Mr. Justin Heather,
Here.
Mr. Jesus Esparza, Mr. Francisco Mata, Ms. Vanessa Guerra,
Present.
Mr. Jose Ceballos,
Here.
Mr. Wilfredo Martinez,
Present.
Mr. Juan Caballero.
All right. We
do have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Thank you very much. I want to welcome everybody to the meeting, board members, staff, and our guests. City Council Member Cigarro, Ms. Cigarro joining us in the audience. Appreciate you making time to be here. We actually are going to have I think it's going to be a short meeting. We only have one action item and the rest is statuses, which usually I run through pretty quickly. We have KCI, Edward, and Andrea here to report on their work, but for the most part, this should be a relatively short meeting. Item 4 is citizens' comments. Citizens are required to fill out a witness card no later than 5:45 p.m. And those can be found here at the meeting location. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No more than 3 persons will be allowed to speak on any item, on any side of an issue. Speakers may not pass their minutes to any other speaker. Comments should be relevant to city business and delivered in a professional manner. No derogatory remarks will be permitted. I don't have anybody signed up, but if anybody comes in, they still have a little bit of time to sign up. Next item is minutes, and board, those are in your packets. Approval of minutes for May 13, 2025. When we're ready, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as presented. Moved. It's been moved by Mr. Heather. Is there
I second the motion.
Seconded by Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? None. Motion passes. Next item is item 6, standing updates. Item A, there is Salinas Improvement RFQ for professional services in the TASA, Transportation Alternative Set Aside Program. If you recall, that's a MPO / TxDOT funded funding source. I can report that the RFQ has been sent to TxDOT for comment, and the response is that they're waiting on the federal initial contribution is the term, and then a federal project authorization, which probably is coming through the US DOT, and then they'll release us to. They didn't give Ramon Chavez any feedback on the forms and the format, so they're probably going to accept it. But for now, we can't move forward with posting that until TxDOT releases the city to post. I think we got all our revisions done to the document, so that will go out as soon as TxDOT releases us to do so. Any questions from the board on that item? Okay, there being none, we'll move on to item 6B, Zaragoza Street improvements, including AP related items or related improvements. So everybody's aware the TIRZ related improvements, the core improvements are completed. We've got some work that AP is going to do to elevate the power lines and install posts. I think Edward mentioned to me before this meeting he's here to present an update, but there's pretty much, we're still at a circling pattern right before they start their work. Edward?
Yes, sir. Edward Ochoa with KCI for the record. And yeah, let me just get to. So a quick update on AEP. I met with AEP earlier this week. They've marked the locations of the poles. So I met with the designer out on the field, and I made sure that the pole locations were where we were wanting them to be. So the pole locations are marked. If you'd like, I can just give a quick update of the location, the latest and greatest. Share the screen there. This is the latest and greatest exhibit from AEP. So again, I'll make this as quick as possible. Convent, Zaragoza. So this is kind of in front of the bridge on the right side, on the east side. They're going to set a new pole. The blue is an existing pole. They're going to set a new pole there. It'll be a steel pole that's going to be taller. So they're going with 50-foot tall poles. The current poles are about 35 to 40 feet, they said. Some of the wood poles are about 35 to 40 feet. So if you think about it, we're going up about another 10 to 15 feet. So then theoretically, all the lines, once they get them all replaced and relocated, would be higher out of view, right, per se. So this is a new pole. Then we're setting a pole right here on the north side of the street. There will be a guy wire that's going to get extended back towards the east. We marked the guy wire location. I kind of negotiated with him and asked for a shorter space guy wire that I'm familiar that they can use, and he agreed we could use it there. So we went ahead and marked that. This pole is going to be in the little landscape area that we have that we added there, the xeriscape area. This pole is going to be right next to where the current pole is at, so they're going to set it. They're going to try to pull the pole and set the new pole right in the same spot. If not, it'll just be right adjacent to it. And then this was the last kind of coordination efforts that we had with AEP. If you recall the seating wall, I call it, right, that had the stone cap on it, we need to set a pole on one end of it and then one on the very other end of it. So there'll be two brand new poles. They'll be at each end of the little seating wall, retaining wall area that we have. And so we got those locations, and I told them I want them kind of as centered as possible to the seating wall location, not too far into the walkways. So that's the exhibit. Again, coming over, this is the new pole on one end of the seating wall. They're removing the pole that's in the handicap ramp right now, and then the other end is this red one. And then as we cross the street onto the outlet shop side, they have an existing steel pole, and he wanted to add a new steel pole there, I think because it's going to be taller. So that was the coordination efforts that we did. And then, I can roll through some pictures real quick so everybody sees that. So there's just some pictures of the markings. So they marked the pole. There's the seating wall, one on one side, one on the other side. That one's going to be right next to the existing pole. That one right in the landscape area. And then this is the one on what we call block 2. So this will be the location of the pole, and then the guy wire will be about 8 feet far out. The other option of the guy wire would have put it almost right in front of the door of the next business over, and I was like, yeah, we need to do better than that. So we were able to get this one, and this lines up. They have a door here, like a service door to this business, but it's just out of the way of that service door, so it'll be okay, in my opinion.
So they're removing the wooden post?
Yes. So eventually they will be removing the wood poles. So just a quick update on the sequence of events, right? AEP puts their steel pole, and then AEP moves their electrical lines to the new pole. But then you have Spectrum and AT&T that are on the wooden poles. So they call Spectrum and AT&T, and then they come in and move their lines. So once everybody gets off of the wood poles, then they can, remove them.
And Edward, is the backfilling of the holes our job, or is that?
I was told by him, because I asked that question, I was told by him that when the poles get removed, they will pour concrete in those locations. Now, I guess thinking about it, this location right here is kind of half concrete, half brick, potentially. So we may have to come back and maybe reset some of those bricks. I don't know to what efforts AEP will go in to reset those bricks for us. But that's a small area. This is a small little area. So we've got two locations that have bricks. This will be wholly in the landscape, so that wouldn't be an effect for us. And then of course, when they pull this one, it'll be concrete.
Right.
So yeah, you've got one. Actually, my bad. This will be. Well, we'll have to probably reset those bricks around it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Any
that's
questions?
just the update on AEP.
Any questions or comments?
The rest of the project is complete, operational. People are walking through there. It's got a lot of traffic on a pretty regular
Is
basis.
AEP doing this, or they're outsourcing to a company?
I'm not quite sure about that. answer. My experience has been that AEP will sometimes use their own employees, and sometimes they, I guess if they need help, sometimes they do have a third-party contractor that they hire that does the work. So I don't know exactly what we're going to be getting, but that's typically what they do, in my experience.
Thank you, Edward.
Thank you.
Item 6E is the It Street monument sign. So the latest with that is that the vendor is pretty much ready to go. He has released revised shop drawings with the changes that the board approved last time. Mr. Chavez, city engineer, asked him for a traffic plan and a couple of other things. So that's as of end of last week. So we should be, probably the city will be releasing that notice to proceed, I'm thinking probably next week. So that's good movement there. Any questions on the signage? Okay, item 6D, wayfinding signage. So we left this pending our review of the actual mock-up, which I actually brought copies of what it would be. So this is the wayfinding for the 6 different, they're kind of monument signs, wayfinding signs. So we wanted to make sure that if you went up to it, you could read it. This is the last shot for the board or anybody that's here in the room to give us input. If you can't read it, or you think that there was a couple of edits that we made, we added Hotel to La Posada. We changed the word facility from the El Metro facility to El Metro Transit Center. And I think for the most part, that's it. All 6 of them are printed, so if you're interested, take a look. I think, and I asked a couple of people, they thought that was big enough. That is like the actual size, so if you can read that from standing in front of it, I think we're good. But this is the last shot for the board to make changes before it goes to production. Any questions or comments? Okay, great, thank you. Item 6E, murals program. The update there, and we do have our economic development team present. The update is that obviously the first mural was a great success. The story that the paper ran had a great angle because they focused on the artist, and I think it was great to read from that side, right? His motivation and other the ability to work with the property owner has been the challenge, right? So. Here we had a really good match. It took a little bit of time, but I think the product is great. The other 2 murals that the board approved, one of them we knew from the get-go that it was a historical building. The city is going to probably find another spot for that one because it has texture involved in that mural. It's not just paint, so that kind of changes the game a little bit. So in discussing with the economic development team, that will actually come back. Probably at another site, at another property, so just for the board to be aware, when that changes, it'll come back for approval. The second one, I was out there with the property owner and the artist discussing, because if you recall, it's on Iturbide and San Bernardo. They only showed one wall, and I did get some feedback from folks about what it would look like on the front, and also if it went all the way to the top. So I met with them, and we basically asked them to come back with their final rendering. It doesn't necessarily have to come back to the board, but we probably want to at least look at it so you know what it looks like. It happens to be the same artist as the other one, so we kind of know perhaps the feel of that project. And that one will actually, I think that one will probably so the good part about that is that they already have the documents that the city will request that be signed. The artist has already agreed, so he's gone through the process before, so it should speed up this whole process. It's on the agenda, the Cesar Chavez walkway. When I get to that, I'll talk about that. But essentially, that's the update on the murals program, on the 3 that were in the pipeline. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just heard glowing reviews, and I personally was really impressed with the first mural. We were talking about earlier that we were doing an event with a chamber inside House of Whiskey, and more than one person commented it really changed the downtown vibe and the sort of vibrance of being down there. So, great first step, and look forward to more of them.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, item 6F, Webb County's participation on the TIRZ. Justin, you're aware of the engagement. So the city of Laredo, through our legal department, is now engaged the county to work out the final agreement or the proposed agreement between the city and the county. So, again, everybody knows the terms in terms of board membership, the contribution of the county, and the term of the agreement. So we will know more hopefully within the next couple of weeks before the next meeting of how that's going to roll out. It will go back to council for approval. Hopefully it goes to the county for their approval and then comes back for final approval with the city of Laredo. Any questions on this work? If not, last item is the first time I learned about the Cesar Chavez Walkway was during the March. I saw an exhibit that was presented, I guess, to the community. It's kind of an archway or a kind of what the Aldo de Tangelo walkway parkway has to designate the Cesar Chavez Walkway on Zaragoza. So I want to make the board aware that I received a call from Danny Valdez, and the day that I went out to see the mural on San Agustin, I ran into Mr. Bocanegra, who heads up that Cesar Chavez March group, and he stopped and said hello, and ultimately I asked him to invite us to their next meeting. So if anybody is interested in being part of this project, let me know, and I'll let you know when that meeting happens. Mr. Chavez, of all things, has been added to work on this project. Of course, he's got a lot of other things to do, but he happens to be now the assistant city manager that's working with this group to realize their vision for that walkway. The reason I wanted to speak about a mural is because Danny Valdez mentioned to me that there was a discussion about integrating a mural aside from the walkway and also potentially a plaque somewhere. So knowing that Mr. Chavez is involved will help, I think, kind of bring everything together. So I just want to make the board aware, since we hadn't really been informed or involved with this project. Just know that the request has been made to somehow join in or be informed on that. So if you're interested, let me know, and I'll make sure you're invited to whatever meetings we're invited to. Those are the updates. Chief Dominguez, did you want to comment?
Yes, Ruben Dominguez from the Laredo Fire Department. We just wanted to make the board aware. We received the proposed improvements to the Cesar Chavez walkway, and what the fire department is asking right now for is some time to review it to assess the potential impacts to emergency response. We have advised legal through engineering through an email, but we wanted to make the board known that yes, we are asking for a little bit of time to review these proposed changes.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
basically what it is the arches are too low and too narrow. So with what we're dealing with right now is you would basically, in essence, be cutting off all emergency vehicles access to that block. So it's 300 feet with multiple businesses there where you would not be able to bring an emergency vehicle up to them. So it can potentially delay firefighting operations. It can delay emergency evacuation, right? Our aerial trucks cannot get as close as they could before. So we just want some time to look at it. I mean, we've met with you all before, right? We've met in the middle where we shrunk some streets down to below what code requirements. So, I mean, we're going to do the best we can to get, just hit some middle ground, right? But we just asking for a little bit more time to review it.
So just to clarify, we're not leading that project. We're gonna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I saw it on the TIRZ. And
No, I just want to really, I put it on so
Okay.
the board is aware, so I don't sound like I'm just a rogue board member out there. The board needs to be aware that we were asked to somehow assist or help.
Okay, then we'll
and be
basically
informed.
be working
Yes,
with
so-
engineering.
yeah,
But
so-
just let you all know, that's where we're at. That's where the fire department. All we're asking is just for a little bit of time.
In all honesty, I brought up that topic when I saw the design. And I think there's a solution, which is to make it like a swing open type arch. But that's something that is gonna have to go through that group and engineering.
Right, no, and there's multiple options, right? Like I've
Right.
always said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. It seems like us coming up here enough, you're already starting to learn our requirements. We're gonna have to give you a badge. Start enforcing, doing plan review for fire department. But like I said, there's a bunch of different ways we can work.
If you
this.
could
It's
pass all
just-
our projects out there with that same tag, that'd be great.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, we just wanted to make that known.
Yeah, no, and I wanted to clarify that we're not leading that project.
Yeah, no.
We will support, that effort, if, it comes to the board, well, I think we'll be supportive. It enhances downtown.
If it meets the requirements.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for updating, for sharing that. Anything else on these items? If not, then we'll go on to the loan action item, discussion possible action regarding invoices submitted by Able City and KCI Technologies. I don't think KCI has a pending invoice, but we do have two. One is an old invoice that was revised and updated, which is the first one on your binder. And then the second invoice is the one that came to the board in a spreadsheet form that we read aloud and stipulated the total amount to close out all billings for Able City on their contract. I've personally reviewed these because I did the review last time. Ms. Gamboa and Ms. Ayala helped with kind of clarifying items and the administrative side of this. So if there are any questions, we'll entertain from the board.
I move to approve the invoices as presented.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
Is somebody here from Able City? No?
No.
Could somebody answer any kind of questions about these invoices? Anybody? No?
I can try to answer
I just
some.
noticed, the billing period is from August through January, but then it talks about, coordination of the April and May meetings. Typically, you don't see, invoicing for items that are outside the billing range. Is it a
Which line
typo or
item?
something?
It could
No,
be.
on the very first one, 3.8 says the billing period is from August through January, so it's 5 months. But then under 3.8, it talks about coordinating action items for April through May.
That's
So-
probably a typo, and it wouldn't be this new period because they haven't been involved since March. It probably speaks to prior work.
But it wouldn't have been included in a prior invoice?
It's possible.
You know what I mean? Unless that's just erroneous and maybe it's having to do with the billing period from August through January, something like that.
I don't know if it was included before. I think they were trying to wrap up all their invoicing. Might have left that one out and it applies, but they would.
Is
need to
this
be
the
on.
wrap up or is the?
No, this is
The wrap up is the
The
January.
next one. But if you notice, there's a lot of months that they wrapped into August through January, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, that was my question.
And they're not here to answer that. So what I would suggest is, if we find that it's duplicated, that we remove it, if Mr. Heather agrees to that amendment.
Absolutely.
And if it's not, that they get paid as presented,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll ask for clarification.
okay?
I second that motion.
It's been, you'll second the motion with the amendment?
Yes.
Okay, it's been seconded by Mr. Martinez. Any additional discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? None, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn?
It's been moved to adjourn at 5:56. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Guerra. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? None, motion passes. Thank you very much, everybody.